Hello everyone, welcome back into the Learning Lab vlog. Today we have the pleasure to interview Ludovica Sciatti. Do I pronounce your name correctly?
It's quite difficult. Sciatti, honestly, but it's okay.
Sciatti, okay. So you are the Global Training Senior Manager at GANNI. So you've got quite of a long experience working with different brands. And so let's start with that. Could you walk us through your career journey in e-learning? So how do you get in e-learning? How do you get in fashion? So we're very excited to learn a little bit more about you today. So go ahead.
Yeah, and thank you, Pascal, for having me. It's a pleasure. Well, yeah, I started my career, I would say 10 years ago already, which is scary. I guess e-learning was in a complete different place then. I started working for Chanel as my first job. I was in the regional team for Italy. E-learning was already there. Actually, even if the stores were just 7 in the region, there was already the need of like blending learning between physical and online learning piece. I would say back then, still the learning was very much of a physical experience. So like seminars, workshops, traveling around. I remember I was also taking people to the suppliers to show them how things were made. Everything was really like digital, but still a lot of physical actions. And then I would say that from that experience on, then I moved to Miu Miu, then to Totem. I actually moved to the Scandinavian market, and now I'm in GANNI. The more, of course, the year passed by and the more the role evolved also on a more global scale, I would say that's when e-learning becomes key. Because you want to reach as much store as possible, as much people as possible. You want to be fast, reactive. The world is getting agile. And honestly, I'm going to say something that is not also super happy for the fashion industry, but I noticed fashion is really the mirror of the world and of reality. Like if you look at fashion, you realize what is going on everywhere else. And I feel like even more now, learning has to be a tool that it's in everyday life of everyone on the floor. It doesn't have just to be like an event to look forward to, but e-learning allows you really to be with them and close to them every day, because maybe not all the stores perform, not all the brands perform, not everybody's happy every day. So it's a very strategic tool now, I would say, to be really to create a second skin for them on a daily basis.
And I see with this business pressure, that really brings us to the next question to see, how you describe your role at GANNI today. What are your challenge, or how did you design your next step at GANNI?
The retail excellence and training, it's a big challenge. We have 53 stores now. I would say that, as always in this kind of role, the biggest challenge is really like the relevancy that you need to have global, but also the relevancy you need to have for specific markets. I couldn't do my job if I didn't have the support of the area managers, of the field people. The main challenge is always like, okay, that's the brand vision. That's what we need to embody for this year. But how we make it relevant for the market. In the US, must be like some tweaks on the message, in EMEA as well, and in Asia as well. So I would say like reach the cultural relevance for all my market is probably my biggest challenge right now, and what I'm looking into for this year to make it even more impactful. And hopefully e-learning will be one of the best tool to make it. And not only for, retail stores, but also for internal employees. Like when you have a global company and you want to create employee branding, e-learning can also support you do that too.
And do you see a big difference in terms of habitus, in terms of way of reaching the training and reaching this type of platform to keep themselves up to date in terms of product knowledge and the rest between, for example, the APAC market or the US market. So how do you adapt to that? Or is it how you kind of enforcing a brand voice for the global market?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, like cultural relevance it's important, and also knowing how people is the tendency of learning of the cultures. So I would say like with Asia, I use more like of a technical kind of training. Usually it's like the retail force. In China, in South Korea, in Japan, they are very driven by information. They love to read, they love to study, they love, now I'm making a very general statement, I know, but you know, like it's very general. So take it as it is. So I know that I need to give them as much as information as possible, and then they will absolutely digest them. Especially when a headquarter is far from the region itself, that's when they even need more and more information to feel like that they have all the tools at their disposal. While in other markets, I would say for Western stores and retail population, it comes down to more like engaging activities, social learning, nano learning. Maybe we will talk about it later. I feel like overwhelming them with information is not a winning strategy. The attention span is in general very low. We also notice it on ourselves. So I feel like, yeah, the Western retail force is more like a reflection and a mirror of how all humans are learning now.
And for you, because the mission of this sales representative on the shop floor is becoming quite technical. So what are the skills that are the most important for you? Because you've got the product knowledge, you've got the clienteling with application, you've got like sales techniques. So maybe it's everything in the same time. It's like they need to have like a 360 vision of the mission. It's quite complex now.
Absolutely. It is very complex. And I feel like in the recruiting process is also the challenges sometimes you have. So now we are facing a moment where maybe the years of the experience or the brands that you have on the CV are still super relevant, because that's, you know, the academy and the school and what you learn in your past, but also like when you meet someone and you understand the personality, it's also coming out to be like one of the most important thing. I would say I value a lot EQ, which is not IQ, but you know, like emotional intelligence, in a way that we always talk about client-centricity. We know is the biggest trend since at least 5 years now. But I mean, in order to really implement client-centricity, it's not just about joining the client journey training and then do some practices on the floor, and then all of a sudden you are client-centric. That's when you need the EQ, learning how to read the room. And also for me, like transitioning from a physical styling session on the floor to as you said, digital clienteling WhatsApp relationship. Like doing both and keeping, you know, the souls of the brand alive by doing both of them. I mean, it's something that either you're born with it or you're developed it as a soft skills in your past, but it's super relevant right now. Like, you know, clients come to the store for a connection, for an experience. So besides product knowledge, there's like this huge set of soft skills that are super, super important now.
Now, regarding this very specific, I would say, community, what are for you the best format, the format that works well? For example, is it like you were talking about social learning, the importance of people to communicate, to connect to each other, to share stories? Do you have like you were talking about the short spams of you know, and also they're on the shop floor, so they don't have an hour to sit down and train. They watch this information from mobile, I guess, for the majority of them. So what are the formats? What are, you know, do you use a lot of video? Are you doing a lot of interaction with images? So what recipe do you have behind your learning material?
Yeah, that's very interesting. That's also something that evolved completely from 10 years ago in Chanel, then Miu and then Ariel is now. Like, again, learning, it's a reflection of engagement. So what keeps you engaged as a person? Like when they tease you, when there's a trailer, when you know that something is coming, and then when it's coming, you're excited. So all the things that, you know, marketing is usually with us, basically. I mean, you mentioned it on social media or on Netflix, or all of these things are honestly the tools that can eventually create a super winning engagement. So teasing, it's something that I'm starting to adopt quite recently, but like also making them like, you know, creating excitement for something that it's coming, and not just like when something drops and then you need to do the module. Nano learning, social learning, we mentioned them before, but of course 2-3 minutes of learning about something, not more. We mentioned the attention span. And then we also go into the formats later. And social learning, I think it's also quite nice, not just within your store. The stores are a safe place, which, yeah, by nature, they are a very good social learning platform, but also like globally, if you have a good e-learning tool, you can exchange ideas with a scope, with a specific goal, with specific guidelines, not just sharing for the sake of it, but it's always something, you know, that can inspire each other. Yeah, and nano learning in the format, I think it's everything from scrolling to videos, to tapping on something, and then of course disclosing a specific information, especially if it's about some fabrics or product specificities. I still have the big question mark about the videos. I still feel that there needs a person, you need to have a person behind it. To that point, I still feel that whatever you upload, short and effective, still has to have some human presence in it.
Yeah, we've seen some data about how engaging it is to give a voice to an expert. You know, really the expert that's worked on this clothes or this bag or these shoes, to share the expert. That we've seen like a huge impact and a huge also memorization of the information. So talking about data, you know, how do you measure the impact? Is it like having certification, passing quiz, or you are more focused in the end of the day of the time people spend on the platform? Because certification is something, but you know, self-learning can be also, you know, a KPI for you. So how do you measure the success of your engagement with the learners?
Yeah, it's really a mix of the things that you mentioned. For sure, there's a part of KPIs that are very much related to the platform. So the time that the users spend on the platform, but also the conversion of these users. Like, do you spend time just because you're browsing, or you spend time because you're actually completing your learning path? So also like the completion rate for me is super important. Like, you just not start something and then after 1 minute you drop out, but you're actually finishing what you started. That's one of the most challenging one, because we said it, people is just like used to scroll, open, close, and then they leave the platform and they didn't actually complete the course. So completion rate, in this sense, the amount of time that you spend on the platform, for sure there are quizzes, so a little bit of knowledge check, not on everything, but here and there it's super important to assess, you know, if you learn it or not. And then I would say there's another side of KPIs that are more related to the impact of this learning path on the store, actually. So it can be, of course, if you have slow mover products on the store, you train the staff on these products that are not actually moving out from the stock. They are all trained. Then what happens? Is this product selling again? So of course, there's also like a set of KPIs that are very much related to the life in the stores. So you monitor some KPIs that are not working, you react on them, you train the retail population, and then is there actually a change after that?
So it's interesting. You see that you are really designing learning paths to lead your learners in a specific, I would say, educative program and the learning path, I guess it can be blending learning, can be visio, can be self-training, quizzes, certification. So it's you're really designing a program for each group of learners.
The most crucial and important one for me are for the new joiners, for the onboarding, the new joiners, for the onboarding learning important one, more than others, more than others, especially we are facing like especially we are facing historical moment where the next generation of new hires, the next generation of new hires, Gen Z needs engagement from their employers. So if they're not taking care within their first 72 hours, I read an article the other day, I read an article the other day, like the 40% of them resign. Like they actually need to. Okay, I just started today. Okay, I just started today. Most likely it's gonna be Gen Z because like he's actually the future generation. Like he's actually what the company is gonna give to me. What the company is gonna give to me. Learning path you give at the beginning, So you give at the beginning. That's for me is one of the most important one. That's for me is one of the most important one. Like to the company. This is how your next day are gonna look like. This is how your next day are gonna look like. But then of course there's so many other learning paths. But then of course there's so many other learning paths. If you just course you want to retain, there's like for experts, if you want to create, some more specific skills. If you want to create, some more specific
It's very
skills.
interesting. And around the learning path, and around the learning path, how do you keep also engagement? You do a lot of coaching, engagement. You do a lot of coaching, message, one-to-one session, a group one-to-one session, a group discussion. Do you do a lot of coaching around these? Do you do a lot of coaching around program you already designed for them? Program you already designed for them?
Yeah, I think all of these. Yeah, I think in general, all of these. I think you are excited about learning when you actually realize that you are learning. Like when you actually realize, okay, this was very useful. I learned things. Then you want to learn again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that, of course, coaching is a super critical part. It has to be done on the field. Of course, I don't believe in coaching like on a meeting. Coaching leads mainly to learning by mistakes, So when you coach someone, you're actually making them realize where was their mistakes and how can they do different the next time. That's super powerful in terms of like, oh, wow, I didn't realize it. You're actually leading me to this. So coaching is powerful. Is not always the only thing because, as I said, it needs to be really super close to the stores on a daily basis to be able to be effective. Otherwise, rewarding and challenges and a positive competition feeling sometimes is also something that can lead a good amount of people to want to learn because they are winning a prize or they're winning a competition or they're winning visibility because they're high in the ranking, It's also like part of that strategy to like, I keep you committed and engaged because there's a prize at some point, at the end of the day, we are human, we love these things. And then I think also a little bit on creating things unexpected, which means that the moment the learner understands that this is the format, it's always going to be like this, is the learning module is going to arrive this day, and then we're going to do it, and then it's going to be a quiz, and then I'm going to win a prize. Like, create a little bit of different formats so they don't really know what to expect the next time. It's also a way to keep the curiosity and engagement.
Big challenge for you. It's interesting.
Very challenging for me, yes.
And how do you see the futures of e-learning? For example, sometimes we see overcomplicated platforms, or we see how people behave in social media. So should the e-learning also get inspired by a very quick and short format as a social media deliver? Is it? Do you see yourself even more involved with BI and working closely with the business department? So how do you see your department evolve in 3-5 years?
I think that's the honestly most challenging question, Pascal, because it's always like this. I feel like technology goes so fast. So I mean, we need to mention technology because it's a very big part of our life now, and the human brain doesn't evolve as much as technology. So we don't know. Like, we have no idea of what is going on. Not even at the end of 2026, maybe there's going to be major changes. I feel like from the side of the role, people working in learning and in companies will become more and more culture facilitator than top-down teachers. These already happened in the past few years. Like, of course, it's not something new, but it's not like, okay, I own the knowledge. We have learning sessions. I teach you these. Amazing. But it's more like, okay, we're working for GANNI. This is the company. These are the values. And you need to be, engaged, embodying, representing it also through learning. So I feel the role will more and more evolving into, also learning and development. It's already something that exists. But now I see more and more position like culture manager. Which I feel it's very much interconnected. Like, company are investing more and more in people that can actually spread culture.
I really love that. Really like your answer as well, because I think usually error is like the wishful thinking. We are leading, but things never happen as planned. And it's better to progress and constantly adapt. It's the only way in the end of the day. But I love the culture, the culture reference and testimonial. Really nice.
Yeah, and I mean from the tools and the technology and the other side, I'm a little bit one of the probably hopeless romantic, which like I still believe that there's gonna be a lot of human presence in this part. Like, as much as you can have nano learning and engagement content, it always makes a difference when you have someone in front of you explaining something. I still strongly believe that at the end, the human presence will be very relevant in these kind of roles, because like it's the only way through which you can deliver passion. If I'm passionate about what I'm telling you, you're going to receive it in a completely different way than just, sitting and reading about the new collection. So yeah, I still like there's going to be major changes in the way learning is perceived for the culture facilitator and for the receiver of this learning, because probably, we've been client-centric and now we're going to become employee-centric in a way that learning is going to be part of your path. And maybe you will be able to personalize it and create like, okay, I really love leather goods, or I'm very good at styling, or I'm the top clienteling of the stores. I can create my own learning path, by choosing specific modules that will lead me there. So maybe it's going to be more tailor-made on each and every single person, and they will be able to, evolve themselves in what they are really driven by, but still, with a big human presence is still.
You know what? I love this interview because I'm learning, and but I've learned a lot with your interview. It was very interesting, Ludovica. Very insightful. So thank you very much. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening this very interesting vlog, and see you next time. Ludovica, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Pascal.